My name is William from ligaDATA. Today I am going to show you how to install our open source software Kamanja. Few prerequisites before we get started. You should have a Java development version 1.7 or higher, as well as Scala 2.10 or higher. In this case I have 2.11. I also recommend you set up an environmental variable, Kafka Home, as that will be required for part of the installation and running of Kamanja. Once that's been done, you can brew tap ligaDATA/tap in order to download our installation formula. If you don't have Homebrew, I recommend you go get it at brew.sh. There is Homebrew for Mac as well as Linux Brew for Linux. Once you've gotten the tap, you should be able to type brew info Kamanja and see some basic information about it, including dependencies Kafka and Zookeeper. So now we're going to use it to install Kamanja with dependencies Kafka and Zookeeper by typing brew install Kamanja -- with all. Now this can take a little while to download and install all this stuff, so I suggest you go take a short coffee break and then come back when it's done. Now that everything has been downloaded and installed, we need to start up Zookeeper and Kafka before we do anything with Kamanja. So first, to start Zookeeper, you simply type in zk server start. And to start Kafka, I suggest doing that in the background, as typing kafka-server-start.sh will take up the foreground. Now I just type JPS and I see that Zookeeper is running as well as Kafka. So next, we're going to create some queues for Kafka. This is where we will put all of our messages so that we can read from and execute accordingly. So we do this just by typing Kamanja create queues, and that will create some default test queues for us to deal with. Now that that's done, we need to upload the cluster configuration, which you may use the default located in the installation directory /config/clusterconfig.json. And you should see something like result description uploaded config successfully. And at the top of all this mess, you should see status code 0, indicating that it was successful. Next, we will add a message. Again, everything is from the perspective of the installation directory. This time in input, sample applications, metadata, message. Double tab to see everything here, and we'll do message definition hello world.json. What you see here is compilation of some Scala code that we're generating based off of that message definition. And at the end of all that, you should see that the message was successfully added. And if you copy this key here and do Kamanja get message key, you should be given some information about that message. It's somewhat unreadable here. I suggest copying it to your favorite JSON editor. But this shows that the message has indeed been added. Next, we're going to add a Kamanja PMML file. We do this by saying Kamanja add model kpmml, where kpmml is a subset of PMML that we've developed here that allows us to take some input messages and use some extra user-defined functions. So we'll just navigate to that location once again, input, sample applications, metadata. And this time we will go to the model folder and we will add kpmml model hello world.xml. Now that that is done, we can go ahead and start Kamanja. Kamanja start will start in the background. If you'd like it to start in the foreground, just add a -v to the end of it. In this case, we'll start it in the background. And we should see that Kamanja Manager -1.0 is running here. Now that we've done that, we can actually push messages into Kafka, which should then be read and processed by Kamanja. So first we're going to go to the installation directory of Kamanja, input sample applications bin. And what you should see here are several scripts. We are going to run one of these sample scripts, push sample data to Kafka _ hello world. And that should allow us to push the data to Kafka. So now we'll do Kamanja watch input queue to see that the messages have in fact been pushed to the queue. And there are 51 of them. Next we will go to Kamanja watch output queue. And we are expecting that we will see this result having been processed by Kamanja, and that's how you know that we are working.